Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. And Happy New Year again. Okay. Adequate notice of this special meeting of the Lawrence Township Council being held on Friday, January 5th, 2024 was forwarded to the Trentoni, the Times, and the Princeton Packet on January 2nd, 2024 by the municipal clerk. We will now have an inspiration and a pledge of allegiance.
May we carry out our work at this meeting in a just, honorable, and sincere manner, always bearing in mind our duties and continuing to keep Lawrence a wonderful community in which to live. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, if we could have the roll call, please.
Mr. Bobbitt?
Here.
Mr. Kanaki?
Here.
Ms. Perry? Here. Mr. Ryan?
Here.
Mayor Farmer?
Here. Now we have a resolution for discussion.
Yes.
I will read the full resolution here, number 45-24. Authorizing amending resolution number 44-24, adopted at the January 1st, 2024 reorganization meeting from a closed session to an open session for discussion of scheduling of the upcoming budget hearing and discussion of council's role in policymaking, official communications, and fiduciary obligations, as it may relate to interacting with the municipal manager. Also, preparation of the state of the township document by January 12th, 2024 from municipal manager. And next is the meeting. Is there a motion?
Motion moved.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Okay. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Bobbitt?
Yes.
Mr. Kanaki?
Yes.
Ms. Perry? Yes. Mr. Ryan?
Yes.
Mayor Farmer?
Yes. Next is the meeting discussion of the Memorandum of Understanding. A, discussion of scheduling of upcoming budget hearing and discussion of the council's role in policy making, official communications, and fiduciary obligations as it may relate to interacting with the municipal manager. B, preparation of the state township document by January 12th, 2024 from the municipal manager.
That's your discussion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do we have any questions or from the council? Okay.
I have a few. I didn't know how you wanted to proceed. Sorry. I didn't know how you wanted to proceed, Mayor. So I'm not used to having a conversation in front of so many people. So yeah, I don't know how you want to proceed. I'd love for your insight into how you'd like to go through your memorandum that you sent to members of the Lawrence Township Municipal Council. The memorandum that is to members of the Lawrence Township Municipal Council, Kevin Nowinski, Esquire, Municipal Manager, TPA, Lawrence Township Municipal Clerk, from Mayor Patricia Hendricks Farmer.
Okay.
So if you could just give us some insight on how you want to proceed, I'd love it.
You are welcome to just ask any questions as it relates to the memorandum, and we will have a discussion openly here today.
Excuse me, Mayor, would you turn your microphone on?
Yes,
please.
Can you hear me now?
Mayor.
Bring it closer to you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That thing is, yeah.
I'm petite. How about now?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize you weren't hearing me. My apologies. So, yes, Councilman Bobby, if you would like to ask the question, please do so.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess first of all, I know this is sort of the beginning of your term. I know that there was a conversation via email about sort of the wording of the memorandum and how it seemed more of a directive and not sort of a conversation starter. So I hope in the future we can have a little more open conversations and less sort of MOUs between the mayor and council and the manager. So I'd like to start there. I guess my main questions are concerning the manager's understanding whether he could deliver what you are asking for I don't know if everyone even has what we're discussing. Okay, so I'll just read it for you. In order for the newly elected members of Lawrence Township Council that determine the current state of Lawrence Township in regards to department operations and contract negotiations, we are requesting the township manager to prepare the annual report to council on the administration of the township government as required in Chapter 10, Administration of Government, Section 29, Powers and Duties, subsection G of the Lawrence Township Administrative Code to be delivered to council by close of business Friday, January 12th, 2024. This report will include the current status of all departments by detailing the 3 most important issues facing the unit in the upcoming year, as well as the 2 most critical items that need to be addressed in the next 6 months, if any. The report will include all pending matters before any government or outside agency that need action or attention from the manager's office. When reporting this information, you will list the entity, name, the nature of the matter, and the plan of action will be taken. If any, additionally, please provide the listing of labor contracts and expiration dates, as well as a narrative describing the status of any ongoing open negotiations. Did I get it?
Word for word.
Awesome. Just want to make sure I wasn't saying anything out. So I guess my question to you, Mayor, as chair, have you spoken with the township manager at all about whether he was be able to deliver said state of the town report in that time, or if there's another time that he might think is more acceptable, or whether the rest of council thinks that giving him 1 week to provide that report is acceptable. So I guess I'll start there, if that's all right.
Sure, that's why we're here, to have the discussion.
All right.
What was the question? Oh, go ahead, you may answer if you want.
Well, no, I was asking you, Mayor, as chair of the board, whether you have had any conversations with the township manager on whether he would be able to deliver this request in A by the following Friday, January 12th, 2024, or if there's been any conversations amongst the rest of the council about this thing, because I haven't spoken with you at all or gotten anything about whether this is, whether this timeline makes sense. That's all.
Mayor?
Sure, Councilman Ryan, go ahead.
I believe when we receive this, it's just a suggestion of a memorandum on this. This is not giving, I believe we're just going over this tonight.
Yes,
And then we're going to approve for a resolution. That's my understanding.
that is correct. We are discussing this in open public, yes. And,
So may I rephrase the question yet again?
Sure.
Have you had any conversations with the municipal manager about whether he could deliver said report within a week?
we're having that conversation right now.
I'm here if someone
Yeah,
wants to
I'm
ask.
sorry, right, first,
Okay,
so, Mr. Nowinski, would you like to
yeah,
answer?
sure, I would. Well, right now, at this point in time, we are preparing the budget for
Correct.
2024. So this is the time that our CFO is here. I have a lot of department heads here. We are doing our best to compile the information and prepare the budget recommendation to you. So this document, I went online to try and get a sense of what other towns have done in terms of the state of the town report. And it was far different than what's described here. It was actually a very good idea. Like there's some towns like Teaneck and I think Washington Township, they have like a 45-page report that's released to the public that kind of gives the public a real good snapshot of where the town is at the present moment, right? But it's a public document. It's more benign than it is what's being asked here. So I would say that that more substantial document would be really impactful a week or two after the passing of the municipal budget, because we've now gone through a process. We know where we're going to be. We know what our plans are moving forward through this year. And so if in late April, early May, we can definitely put together a really substantial, cool looking document that we could put on the website that the town could go, okay, this is where we are in 2024. So I would prefer to do it that way. However, some of the information that you're requesting on here, some of it, I don't want to release in a public document for everyone to see. And I know we have a little bit of transparency dance that we've got to get through, you and I and all of us, in terms of what's important to keep contained within our world and what is to be released in public. Not that we have anything to hide, but there are certain things that on behalf of the community, we negotiate, we strategize that another side opposing our community should never get. And so I'd love to talk to you all about that in terms of what my thinking is. So some of these, some of the information on here that you're asking for, I can provide to you in an alternative document memorandum to you, so you have a great understanding of where we are right now, because I think that's important for you too, as newly electeds, to really get a good sense of that. And I would like that document to be more deliberative than it is public, because you're asking for plans of action to be taken, things that are before administrative boards, and certainly I don't want to reveal strategy or anything like that to you. So I could prepare something to you. I don't know if January 12th is a realistic time frame to do it and do the other things that we have to do. I can certainly get that to you sooner rather than later and go through systematically what you've placed in here that you would like me to address. So if we can agree on that, and then you guys can make a determination what you would want to be released as a public document versus not, in consultation with Mr. Sipek, I think makes the most sense to do.
That is thank you for that, Mr. Nowinski. That sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
And I know we're week 1, day 5 of our administration, but, and I assume that a lot of that information you would have on hand because you are preparing the budget for the year. So, it wasn't a big ask, but definitely some information that would be helpful.
And there's something that my predecessor had done previously that I stopped doing. Not because I didn't want to be somebody that just did something because the other person before me did it, right? So the budget messaging document that I started to prepare, based upon the fact that we now produce so much information to the public daily, weekly, monthly, that I felt that the budget message document, which is always subject to change in the first month of January, and people tell you that we consistently get new financial figures and things like that, so it's constantly updated. So I had waited until we had the final document for the budget to be recommended before I released this substantial document. And if you look back on the 2017 budget message by Mr. Crossan, it contained a lot of information that I certainly could have carried over to each document moving forward. It's just information that never changes. I can easily move it over. And if that meets, I know there was some concern from somebody in the public that this document's different than the one that the predecessor did. Well, I'm a different person than my predecessor, and I have different ways of delivering messaging to the community and to all of you. If you tell me that you would like that document to reflect more the 2017 version, which is 8 pages, and a lot of it has nothing to do with what the town probably is interested in, I'm happy to do that, and that could kind of meet some of the expectations that you may have in terms of what we did before versus what I'm doing now. I'm 7 years into this, but I am well aware you have, I'm appointed by the council, you set the policy, you tell me how you want to do things. And I've said the 2 things that are most important for the council is making sure public safety is #1 priority. And #2, the budget. These are your These are your two most important things to do. And I am at your service in terms of how you want this budget process to flow. Okay? So I'll just wait for guidance from you with regard to that.
Thank you, Mr. Nowinski. Appreciate that. Do we have any other points that we want to make for discussion?
Just for that part,
Mhm.
and I would say that Peter Kiriakakis, everybody's our CFO. He prepares the budget. I kind of provide the overall strategy and, you know, give him things that we should be gearing towards and preparing for, but he's the guy that puts it all together. Normally, the budget schedule is kind of dictated by the budget preparer in terms of what's realistic, because I think in this process this year, we have a state review. So when we prepare our recommended budget, there's going to be a time frame where we don't control the time frame. The time frame is controlled by somebody from the state reviewing it. So these dates that are provided, I think are doable, but in the end, just be prepared. I may tell you, hey, we're not getting the review and comments back from the state that we need to, and we may have to shift it further.
Could you elaborate on what a state review consists of?
Sure.
Or if you want to come to the
Come to
podium,
the,
we welcome
Thank you.
you to the podium. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. The state of New Jersey, congratulations, thank you. The state of New Jersey, each municipality, city, town, borough is broken up into 3 groups. Lawrence Township is group 3. So on a rotating basis, every 3rd year, Lawrence Township is under state review. They look at our financial statements. They look at the budget as it's prepared. They look at our debt statement. They go through their metrics. They go through their analysis. They come back and they give us either you may adopt or you're going to have to change this. However they look at it, it's proprietary and it's their analysis. The budget dates, how they're set in the memo, are doable as long as the state gives us the green light to approve. I would just ask Madam Clerk that we're going to have to amend one of the resolutions from the first meeting of the year.
Yes.
That changes the budget adoption date from April 16th to April 2nd. April 2nd will be the date of adoption if and when we get the approval from the state.
Thank you. And if you could just state your name for the public so
Oh,
that they
sure.
know.
Peter
we want them to hear you.
Kiriakakis.
Thank you. Okay. I don't know if we feel if it's necessary to read any additional information on the memorandum, or are we all in agreement that everything,
as far as A is concerned, I think
we're good?
we're good, and if we can keep an open line of communication
Absolutely.
along the way, we'll be good.
Just send me to.
So,
Sure.
Mayor, if I may, so my understanding, I just want to be 100% clear with you and the rest of the council. So I just want to state this publicly. So the idea is to sort of amend this MOU Section A from asking for this document to be provided on Friday, January 12th, 2024, moving the final document to sometime later, perhaps May, as recommended by the township manager. But the township manager has promised to provide a memo with important information at an earlier date, preferably before the budget starts or around the time of the budget.
Mayor,
Yeah,
Did I?
we have an additional comment. Go ahead, Mr. Renner.
can we see, the
Well,
because I know it was, they want to amend it, but it was adopted on the 1st.
well, I'm not sure if I understand. I believe the manager is indicating, obviously, the January 12th date is not viable, correct?
I mean, I could do
For
it.
all of these.
I can work day and night and do it.
No, I understand that.
Yeah, but no, it's.
But that,
I would like to focus more on preparing the budget and have it completely the way it should be done and presented to you and to the public.
but it's my understanding from your conversation with council that possibly certain items could be in normal course of discussion can be supplied to council within a week, especially the new members.
Honestly, I've started compiling it already, so.
Now, as to a specific date for completion of the entire report, you're indicating that you would like to have the budget process completed, or nearly completed, before that could be supplied to council. Is that
That's accurate. And I also would like the council to, I can give you links to certain towns that have produced such a report, a 45-page report or so, that you can get a sense of, yeah, I like how this looks, include that information or not, so we can have a conversation along the way, because I think every year after that, I think that report is a great idea. State of the township report.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, Mayor. So I would think that it's impossible to come up with a date certain tonight. But as the township proceeds with its budgetary hearings and the budget is prepared, maybe at a date sooner than later, you would have a better idea as to when such a document could be produced in its entirety.
Yes, I agree with that.
And that's the topic of discussion. And I understand, you know, the concerns on both sides, especially with the new members. But I think maybe we should have I'll call it a periodic update of the, certainly the budget process is going to be paramount, but also as part and parcel of that, where we are in terms of fulfilling the requests with regard to the items outlined in paragraph A. I'm hesitant to make a date certain because it always changes. So I think something that's reasonable, you know, we're only in the 5th day of January. So I'm not saying we have to know the 6th day or but I think a reasonable update from time to time to benefit not just the council members, but the general public.
May I comment?
Yeah, and I just want to say, it sounds like most of the information would be ready fairly soon. We could just touch base.
Yeah, so, Mr. Sypek's new, you two are new. But I think Mr. Ryan, Mr. Bobbitt, Mr. Kanaki could tell you the flow of information from my office to you all, daily, weekly, monthly. You'll be sick of my emails, only because you need to be informed, because I have to keep you informed because you're the decision makers with regard to it. So, after, you know, we're into the 4th day of you'll get a better sense of the type and quality of reporting that is provided.
Yeah.
And so maybe there'll be a raised confidence level in terms of getting the information.
Thank you, because yes, you absolutely have been communicating well with us via email since day one.
Can I make one comment?
Yes.
Mr. Manager, thank you very much for being open and honest and giving us clarity on how we are going to receive information. As you mentioned, the budget is one of our biggest responsibilities to the public. And we appreciate the opportunity as new elected members to know as much information as far as the details on how each department is functioning, so we can assist and guide and, with your help, give them the resources they need to do their job the best to their ability. And you have done so in the past, and we appreciate you giving us all that information for the future.
That's what we're supposed to do, right?
Do we have, go ahead.
I guess so.
Councilman Bobbitt.
Mayor, I would like to thank our attorney for his insight about a date set. I will change my sense that will to what the manager has said about sort of keeping us periodically updated.
On a
Thank you.
continuing basis.
Yeah, on a continuing basis. So thank you. Thank you, Mayor, for the comments of the attorney. So I'm done. Thanks.
All right. Okay. So, let's see, where we on the agenda? Do we need to paragraph 2, or do we need to review the remainder of the memorandum, or are we good with?
It would be great for the public
Oh,
to
yes.
hear, I think,
Okay,
what B is,
Yes,
and so we
let's
can
do
have a
that.
conversation about that.
yes, we did. We had a conversation. Make sure I can be heard, yes, okay. Section B of the memorandum speaks to communicating with the public is important, and it is critical that boundaries are established to ensure that communications are orderly and fall online with the policies and objectives of the Lawrence Township Council. Therefore, the municipal manager will immediately cease the publishing of all newspaper editorials, social media posts, and social media blogging as it relates to his official capacity and the day-to-day business operations of the Township of Lawrence. While the council is aware of the provisions of a certain agreement dated May 4th, 2021, by and between the Township of Lawrence and Mr. Kevin P. Nowinski as municipal manager QPA, specifically paragraph 2, in which it states the municipal manager QPA agrees to maintain a social media presence on the various community social media sites in his discretion as to content and as his schedule may permit, in accordance with the Township Council policies, positions, and in consultation with council. Emphasis added. As such, as clearly set out in the agreement signed by the municipal manager, any such media posting shall be done in consultation with council. Note that the Lawrence Township Administrative Code is void of any provisions dealing with social media presence by the municipal manager. Therefore, the language in the agreement dated May 4th, 2021 shall control. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, can I just add a little sort of historic background for the members of the public and also for some of the newer members of council?
Sure, go right ahead.
One of the reasons why this was added to Mr. Nowinski's contract at the time was that previously our former manager was, let's say, he wasn't very outwardly facing. He was very focused internally. And I think he did an amazing job in terms of the finances and other things with the township. But we thought with a new manager at the time, so Councilman Kanaki and others, I see Councilman Powers out there as well, and others, we thought that this was an opportunity to sort of have a reset and have someone who was a little more forward-facing, talking about the community. We knew that Mr. Nowinski was someone who was born and raised in this township, who had connections with the township and really understood the township. That was one of the reasons why we chose him. So that was sort of the thinking then. I understand that over the last year or so, one of the initiatives that Mr. Nowinski had was to hire a community sort of a, I forget the exact title now. Community. Thank you. Mayor, please thank Mr. Nowinski on my behalf. Community aid. And so we really thought that was something that could go forward, and that person could start to interface more directly with the township, and Mr. Nowinski's role could come back. Unfortunately, a little town to the north of us took him, saw all the good work he was doing with Community Connect and other pieces, and hired him away from Lawrence Township. So we miss him, but at the same time, there was a void. But I think I'm hopeful that with this new council and in partnership with the manager, we can find a new community aid to do that outwardly facing. So I just wanted to give a little historic background on where it was and why I think I think for the most part I agree with Section B. So thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Councilman Robert. We just wanted to, a small invitation, we wanted to take an opportunity to regroup and to look at the messaging. I know that in previous meetings that I know I've attended in council, social media has been a little bit of a thorn sometimes in terms of communication. It could really, we just want to take another look at the messaging and how we engage with the public through social media. And someone designated to that work is key. So, thank you.
May I speak?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, thank you. A part of the discussions when I was first hired was exactly what Mr. Bobbitt said, that that we wanted to be a community, this is what I was told, that better communicates with the residents. And they asked me to take that on. I have something I want to just read into the record, if you don't mind. It shouldn't take that long. I would prefer that the responsibility be deleted from my employment contract specifically. I don't want to waste my time preparing public communications only to have them rejected by the majority of council. I don't mean this in a negative way. The realistic nature of our council is we have 5 part-time elected officials, and it will be an impossibility for me to say, hey, does this work for you? And then wait for you guys to get a response back and wait for the majority of council to be okay with all the language that I put together in a post or a blog. It will not work. And let's face it, we have a different form of government. There's not a strong mayor. This is not a strong mayor government. We share responsibilities and authority. We do. I mean, you appoint me, correct, but then the municipal manager oversees and has direct authority to take certain actions. So it becomes difficult for 5 individual council members to speak on behalf of the town because you all have been elected at large and you all are to act as a body. That's why it kind of made sense to have somebody appointed by the council to reflect and provide information. I have made clear, let me just read this because I don't want to miss anything. Okay. I would also prefer and do accept that I should not post any comment at all on Facebook for any reason. When we had a community aid, I was able to withdraw from Facebook to a very significant extent, but that position remains vacant at the present time. What would prompt me to comment on Facebook is misinformation that improperly characterizes our government operations or decisions. Trust me, I waited for anyone with knowledge to make a correcting comment, but those comments rarely happen. My wife is out there right now. She is ecstatic of the thought of me being off of Facebook. The times that I would be looking at my phone instead of being present with my family, it's not an easy thing to do. So I am looking forward to withdraw from Facebook with regard to that. I could tell you that anyone can post anything at any time on Facebook, and believe it or not, everybody believes it. You read it, it's the truth, and the community runs with it. I was raised here. I take my job seriously. I don't want you all as a governing body or myself to be portrayed in a negative way for false reasons. So I took it upon myself to try to redirect the conversation with facts, with context, to get our message out that we are not bad people, that we are not all idiots, that we are not all we're not well thought out, that we do this because we love our community, we take our job seriously, and believe it or not, we may have more information that drives our decision-making than they do out there. So that was what was driving me to do this. But I'm happy to step back from that because honestly, I was easy target. People would come up here and say, Kevin said on Facebook this, and I'd have to sit there and try and emotionally contain myself at false claims, at false statements, at false facts. And honestly, this was new for all of us. When I was asked to do this, no one did it before me. And so we were on new ground. And I can tell you, my wife, who's out there, I don't know how many times people have approached us while we're at dinner at a restaurant or at a public event, and they said, Kevin, thank you for the information that you've provided this town through your posts, through your blogs, and how you engage the people. People would come to the municipal building just to say hi and to thank you. They've never been more informed. And the Gazette articles always got a response. But there are always going to be times, always in this world that we live in social media, where there's going to be detractors. There's going to be negative people. They're going to have agendas that are personal to their personal interests. And it's a shame that the information that was flowing out of my blog, which was done in a very personal, and I tried to be interesting because you know what? Municipal government is not that interesting. But I tried to engage the public with interesting commentary and get the information absorbed in them in a way. It came back to bite me once or twice.
Yeah.
You know, you try, you do your best with the best intentions, and that happens. But I think overall, and to take a step back, completely fine. This is well within your rights to do this. You set the policy. I will follow your policy. But I don't want you to be swayed by the people in the room at the time who have a personal interest that may be different than the opinion that I've expressed on Facebook, or because I've said no to them in the past because it wasn't in the best interest of the town. Those are few and far between. I truly believe from the feedback that I've received that the information that we put out is much more valuable to them than our silence. And that's more transparency, not less. So thank you for the opportunity to let me get that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
It certainly will make my job easier.
Mr. Nowinski, and having sat in the audience, I think that it was an unfair burden for you to have that in your contract. That is something that really needs to be reviewed, because there is great value, but it should not maybe necessarily fit in your area of expertise.
I agree. I agree.
Madam Mayor, as indicated earlier, there's no formal action to be taken tonight.
Yeah.
So while I appreciate your comments, we cannot vote on amending
Or
your
please tell them
agreement.
to make me stop posting.
No, we can't take a vote.
You can't do that, taking it.
I think what we will do is, in order to amend the agreement dated May 4th, 2021, we would need a resolution to amend same pertinent to your remarks. I can, prepare that for the next meeting, and obviously, council can vote for the amendment, but we're not in a legal posture to make that change this evening.
And I asked the mayor, I asked this only to protect myself in terms of people are going to say, why have you stopped doing that? Why, all of a sudden, or he's afraid to talk now. I just made this great post and now he's not saying a word. It would be great for the public to know I've been taken out of this sequence, and we're going to try and communicate in a different manner.
We'll take that into consideration. Yes, Councilwoman Perry.
Mr. Lewinsky, we are very, very thankful for your passion for this community, for the service that you have provided that, yes, is a bit of a burden. And I'm sorry we've taken you his time, Mr. Lewinsky, but we would ask for your guidance in the process that we will go forward in creating a position for someone who would be putting that information out. Because as you know, our goal is 100% or 90% transparency as much as we can within our legal. And we would appreciate your guidance on that, because you have set up a structure. So we will piggyback on that and make it a process that works well for everyone.
We have funded a community aid position. It's funded for this year as well. So I would ask that we be able to get back to that, because our Senior Connect, those things, our outreach is now, it's not out there right now. And, it's only been 4 days, but there's going to be a silence out there. People are going to feel it. Where's the newsletter? Where's the stuff that we produce that we've started 1.5 years ago to do, that we made some substantial strides with? It's gone right now. So on January 16th, there's going to be a resolution to fill that community aid position. I'll provide you with the information so you're well informed, and so we can get back to work to better communicating with the town.
Thank you. Okay. Now, just to continue the memorandum, there is a part C, and I will read that for the public's knowledge. Section C says, for all members of Lawrence Township Council, it will be important in the fulfilling of our fiduciary obligations to be fully aware of the general operations and staffing levels of key departments in the township during the 2024 budget review, as well as being fully informed of all anticipated expenditures, revenues, and capital projects. Therefore, the attached 2024 budget review schedule will be utilized for budget recommendations, budget introduction, public hearings, and final budget adoption of the 2024 budget. It is the intention of the Lawrence Township Council to adhere to the scheduled timetable. And I think we've discussed that today.
Yeah,
And
it's
how we will-
contingent upon some things, but we will absolutely do it.
Right, and we have flexibility with that. And again, it's, we want to educate the public as much as possible, with things such as the budget and those of us who will be going through that process for the first time will like to have it.
I do have a comment when you're ready.
Okay,
Yeah,
go
I
ahead.
can tell you that I met with my department heads this morning. All of them indicated that we have a governing body that has some new members, and they're going to want more information to better understand our operations and all that. And so we've gone through this list, and all the department heads are ready, willing, and able, and will be providing the information to you, as they've done in the past budget review processes, but they are going to be prepared to answer your questions and provide the information that you've detailed in here. Okay?
Thank you. Okay,
Mayor?
yes,
Ask the
Councilman Bobbitt.
Thanks. I just want to say I appreciate the depth that you went to in terms of listing out the step-by-steps and actually referring to the Lawrence Township budget message from 2018, which was Mr. Nowinski's very first budget message, which had a lot of these schedules at the back. I just, for clarification, I just want to understand, under the heading regular meeting of January 16th, 2024, we have the final budget message being introduced, an introduction, and it lists all the things. And under that, it says department head presentations, health officer, construction official, superintendent, recreation, and the municipal court judge. And then we skip over the February 6th meeting and go to February 20th. And I just wanted to make sure, I think I know where you're going, and that you wanted the department head presentations to happen on February 6th, but that isn't clear on the review schedule. So I just wanted to make sure that that was just a simple editing omission, and that those department head presentations that I mentioned were actually happening on February 6th and not January 16th.
Yeah.
I'm sure that,
Mayor?
I'm sorry, just to be clear, what you're saying is at the top of the document,
Yes.
with January 16, 2024, you're saying that should be February 6th?
No. Let me rephrase. Under the heading, at the very beginning of this, it says regular meeting of January 16th, 2024.
Mhm.
There's an final budget message, and then it has a list of things you'd like to see in said budget
That we
message.
would like to see.
Yes. Well, I'm sorry, Mayor, it was a memo from you, so I apologies.
Mhm.
And then at the end of Schedule I, it says Schedule I, capital priority request. The very next line, it says department head presentations, health officer, construction official, superintendent of recreation, and the municipal court judge. And that's all under the heading of January 16th, 2024 regular meeting. It then goes to February 20th, 2024, department head presentations, chief of police, emergency management coordinator, public works director, and municipal engineer. And I just wanted to ask, was that,
Intentional or?
intentional that February 6th was going to be a pause, or was February 6th actually supposed to be for the department head presentations, health officer, construction official, superintendent of recreation, and municipal court judge?
Mr. Nowinski, in your experience, is that correct? February 6th?
So I think
should-
some things that we probably should clarify. On January 16th, it's not a final budget message. It's a budget recommendation.
Mhm.
And it will be changed over the course of that month as we get new financial information that was not available when we make our budget recommendation. So it's not final, but it's a budget recommendation. It's our starting point. And this year, we expect to deliver a 0-cent increase in our budget this year. And we knew this was coming from last year. We saw it, and I said it in public, and we're able to the things that we were able to accomplish. So this year, it's going to be a 0-cent increase, subject to your review and modification. And the only other thing that I'd like to just revise on this budget review, we don't have the municipal court judge come before us anymore. There was a time when the judge would would come before us, but it became a part of a civil action lawsuit by police officers from Lawrence Township, that the words that he used in his budget presentation were, in my opinion, taken a little bit out of context. And we felt that to put the judge in a situation where he's got to talk revenue is not appropriate. Even though the court is a source of revenue, the justice that's delivered over there is not based upon generating revenue. So we've decided, and you can re-decide back, that it was probably not appropriate for the municipal court judge to appear before this governing body to discuss aspects that could potentially be used against the town.
In fact, that's something that we could discuss and review. What is the benefit of that, if there is any,
Benefit of what?
of a municipal judge speaking about the budget?
It usually, I mean, so every department head comes before council members and they discuss the, where they're, so you all will need, and Pete certainly needs when he creates the budget, we need to be able to forecast what our anticipated revenues are. And those revenues so 2023 revenue is all that we could use for our 2024 budget. So it's important for us to know from the department heads that do provide a stream of revenue to our municipal operations, to know what they're forecasting in terms of if it's the construction office who has permits, big projects that are coming up where they're going to do a lot of work and they're going to see an uptick in revenue. That helps people forecast what we need to do. So the court would be one of the departments that had previously reported, but we felt overall it's probably not the best look to have our judge go before the body and say, look how good we're doing. We made this much money. And it's not, that's not the tone, and that's not the purpose.
Or something like that, right?
It's not the purpose of what municipal court does, but it just puts it in a bad position. And we don't.
May I just interject? Who decided? We decided, or not to have?
What do you mean, Mr. Ryan?
Who made the decision?
Who made the decision? You say we
That was
decided.
made among the governing body at some point in time. Absolutely. In conjunction.
Yeah.
My recommendation in conjunction.
Is there a reason, Mr. Councilman Ryan, why you think that there's a benefit to having a municipal judge present?
I just think that he's part of municipality. He always has come before us. I think it was last year he stopped, so it's part of the budget. In my opinion, that's all.
Mayor, I would ask that Mr. Sypek at some point consider this and weigh in on the risks to the town versus the benefits to the town.
Yeah.
You can certainly get a written report from the municipal court. And you were here, Mr. Bobbitt, you were here. It wasn't, he just didn't stop reporting. It's been several times. And it stopped immediately after the lawsuit amended and put him in there with the language that was used. So I understand Mr. Ryan may want him to just be here because everybody else is here, but there's a bigger picture involved here, and we do have to protect our community in some way. But you'll still get the information in a different way.
We will get the information. That's the main
Mayor,
thing.
if I may, I understand the position of the manager. I understand the concern as to getting the information to the public with regard to the court. I'd be glad to do a very quick opinion as to the pros and cons and what I think might be a viable resolution of this before well before the next meeting.
And just so you know, and the public knows, we post on the website the department head's presentation. It's available to the public. Numbers, all that stuff is immediately made available. So the court will be able to provide that in written form as well.
So just so I'm clear, and the CFO is here, without the judge appearing, you're comfortable, you'll be able to get the requisite information for the anticipated revenues.
May I speak, Mayor?
If you could come to the podium, please.
Absolutely. Thank you. Municipal budget is based on what they call other comprehensive basis of accounting. The revenue section of the budget, you cannot anticipate more revenue than was actually received in the prior year. That's the cap. The appropriation side is more like accrual accounting, where you can accrue expenses via purchase orders from appropriations. So it's really a very conservative type of accounting. So the revenues that I will be looking at are capped at the revenues we actually received in the prior year. So the forecasting of the revenues helps to see what direction the departments are going, and if any changes need to any of their cost schedules or fees or permits. But for actual budgeting purposes, we're capped at the prior year's amount.
Okay.
Thank you for that clarification.
Madam Mayor, just so we're clear, because I'm not clear, with regard to Councilman Bobbitt's question of the department head presentations, health officer, construction official, superintendent, recreation, it's my understanding that would be at the February 6th? February 6th meeting?
February 16th,
Is
that's
that your
correct.
understanding,
Mr. Nowinski.
Mr. Nowinski?
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was January 16th, so we're gonna do February 6th?
We give you a little extra time.
I'll
There
take
you go.
Okay, thank you.
Alright. So let's see, I think we've covered everything on the memorandum, is that right? Is there any other discussion?
Sorry.
Don't apologize. This is great. This is a good learning opportunity for the public.
I
As
know
well
I'm
as
standing
ourselves.
between people and they're Friday, so I just want
That's
to. But I do have to ask this question because you had brought it up under C, our fiduciary obligations. And still not having any sort of background information on the hiring of our township attorney, who, by the way, Mayor is doing an amazing job, so thank you. But I just had a few questions about how we could sort of, first, so I could understand when we will be able to sort of have him on full time. Because we had only done a 1 month resolution on Monday. That's right, it's just Monday.
This is the 5th day of 2024.
And so I just would love to have some more information so I could make a thoughtful understanding of the contract when it renews. So
It's my understanding that there was a technical or clerical issue involving having the 12-month contract because of certain pay-to-play documents needed 10 days. They were only in 7 days, or I forget the exact number. So it was felt that the 30-day contract remedied that. My understanding is that I will supply a new contract for the January 16th meeting to go from February 1 of this year through December 31st of this year.
And Mayor, may I follow up with another question? Since we have now switched attorneys, and there's nothing wrong with that, but at the same time, our former attorney had a lot of sort of knowledge going back a few years, right? And so I just wanted to, I realized in the spirit of this new council, and I'm sort of reevaluating things and everything else, I'd love it if the township attorney at some point could provide some additional information about sort of current cases, their status, all that kind of stuff. I can send you an email. I don't want to bore everyone with my thoughts, but I would love that as well.
No, I understand that. I've had very productive discussions with Mr. Roscoe's, and his office has been very cooperative. My office, of course, has been very cooperative. He is preparing a memorandum with regard to each case. I'll be receiving that shortly, and we will provide to council update on any and all current litigation or issues of concern, some in public and some closed.
Mayor, please, I think that is wonderful to hear from Mr. Sypek. Again, it's sort of in the spirit of sort of opening up the blinds and kind of shedding light on everything. I think that's wonderful because I have to admit, I have been a little remiss about sort of following along with all the sort of ongoing litigation, with the police and other matters, Trenton Waterworks. And so understanding sort of where we are and all that would be a real help to me as well.
Some of the, and we don't have to get into, we can't get into details tonight. Some cases are going to be maintained by Mr. Roscoe's office or firm because it would make no sense to transfer some cases for certain legal reasons that we won't discuss this evening. But I think those cases will also you'll be well informed of what's happening on those cases.
Mayor, that's wonderful to hear. So thank you.
All right. This will close of the discussion of the memorandum and move on with the agenda. Okay. Okay. All right. I was all ready for my quote. I didn't get to do my inspirational quote. But, okay. All right. This brings us now to the opportunity for public comment or public participation. If anyone is interested in making a comment, we ask that you come to the podium, state your name, and you could write your address on the paper that is listed right here at the table.
Mayor, may I add something before I forget, tomorrow is the Colonel Hand March, 10 o'clock right here. It's great, and they go down to Notre Dame.
Yes. And I just want to acknowledge the firefighters, or is that EMT in the back, for being here this evening? Thank you. EMT? Okay.
I did already. Good evening. For the record, my name is Lisa Burke. I reside in 278 Fontaine Lane, and I've been a proud resident of Lawrence Township for 22 plus years, so 23. I remember tonight, the very last time that I got up and spoke at a council meeting, and I made the comment, which I'm going to refer to tonight. I've only really ever lived two places, Jersey City and Hudson County, and here in Lawrence Township in Mercer, and both are truly home. So I'm actually not going to speak on an issue. I'm going to speak and share just some general thoughts in light of tonight's conversation. First and foremost, congratulations to the mayor, to a Liberty Green neighbor, Councilperson Perry, to former Mayor Ryan on your elections, and thank you to Councilman Kanaki and Councilman Bobbitt for your continued service. One of the things that I'm reminded of, and this is prompted in part by something you said earlier, Councilman Bobbitt, about not being so accustomed to having deliberative conversation in front of people. To me, this is exciting. This is government and public service at its best. We should not be afraid or nervous about transparency. We should not be afraid about presence. We should not be afraid of difference. That's what that's when our communities thrive. We can say, oh, we're used to things. Councilman Kanaki, I know you referred at the reorg about things being 5-0 and stuff. When there are those moments, okay. But when it goes another way, that's okay too, right? Because it is the collective. The community has elected each of you to come together on a regular basis and make decisions in the best interest of the community. And sometimes that means getting into heavy and sometimes heated deliberations. But at the end of the day, the one thing that has always struck me about this community, and I think it's evidenced by the fact that members of the police department are here, members of emergency services, of the fire department are here on a Friday night, is that we care, right? And at the end of the day, we're people who care and are part of the same community. So on that note, I just really want to extend good wishes. I also do want to acknowledge that tonight is Friday and that we have a number of people in our community of the Jewish faith. So because they would be observing religiously, they are not here in person. So while I am all in favor of special meetings, I do hope going forward, we'll think about the rich diversity of the community and scheduling unless it's obviously urgent. But sincerely, I think that, I'm feeling very positive about 2024. And I really hope that we do more of this coming together and the asking of questions, because like I heard in the first item, I actually heard two different asks. I heard it referred to as a state of the township, which I think is phenomenal. And then I also heard what I think Mr. Sypek was kind of summarizing as, which is kind of like transition, right? It doesn't have to be either or. It can be both and it can be over time. And I think there's a lot of good to be had if we continue to be comfortable with discussion and deliberation. So my best wishes to everybody. Thank you.
And thank you for those very good points. We will be mindful of that Friday meeting in the future. And if I could just shout out to the police. I'm sorry, I had to change my glasses so I could see that far. And EMT, I know that you're there. So thank you for being here this evening. We appreciate it. Sure, if you would come forward.
Hi, Bob Bostock, 39 Springwood Drive. It occurred to me as I was driving over here that it was exactly 16 years ago tonight that I was in my 5th day on Township Council. I had more hair there, there was less of me, but here I am. I'm going to say something that I know Mr. Nowinski is not going to like, and I'm sure his wife will like even less. I'm really disappointed that Kevin is not going to be continuing to provide on social media the information that he has provided, I think, with great clarity and vision over the past several years. It has been really helpful to me, I think, and to other members of the community to get the facts out there on a timely basis when false information is provided. So I'm sorry that that's going to end, and I hope that you'll get somebody in as soon as possible who will be able to fulfill that role so that misinformation, as Mark Twain said, a lie is halfway around the world before the truth even gets its pants on. So the quicker the better, particularly with social media. And I also want to just comment that having worked with Mr. Nowinski as township attorney when I was on council, that I have always found him to be not only passionate in his commitment and dedication to our community, but a great resource of information, always giving us straight information. He's got a lot of experience here, both as township attorney and then as judge, and now 7 years as municipal manager. Having been new once myself, I would urge, particularly the new members, whom I congratulate, and Mr. Ryan on, I know what was a hard-fought campaign. But I would suggest that Mr. Nowinski is a tremendous resource to this town. And I think that maybe I'm misreading some of what was said tonight, but I think that that's something that I hope the whole council recognizes, and recognizes the fact that he's not only committed and dedicated to this community, but he knows what's going on. He is, after all, according to the law, the chief executive officer of this town. The council is essentially a legislative body. He knows how things are being run around here. He knows very, very well. And I think I can say, and I'm from the other party than you guys, probably shouldn't say it, but I think the town has been run really, really well for the past 7 years. And I think we've seen tremendous improvement in the services that are being offered, the information that is being put out, and that is in large part due to the work that Kevin Nowinski has done as municipal manager. So I would urge you to really have confidence in him and let him do his job so that you all can do your job. Thanks so much. And good luck to all.
I just want wanted to enter, I guess, into the record, because I know that, I am new to the council, but I just wanted to be clear that I fully am aware and I understand the form of government, that we have in Lawrence, and that it is first, it is a manager council form of government. This is not my first, go around with council, and I understand the clear roles of council and that we as council are elected officials. We're by the residents. And our obligation is to govern as a body with fiduciary responsibilities. The manager is the person who runs the day-to-day operations of our town. That is very clear. And we act on behalf of you, the residents, who have elected us to be a voice for the town of Lawrence. That's, that I just want to put that out there. I totally understand. I'm aware of how our body of government works. So, I'm gonna say that. Do we have any other public comments this evening? State your name. Be sure.
Kathleen Norship, 35 Havison Avenue, and just my luck, I have to follow a speechwriter. I hate speaking in public to begin with, and that just made it worse. But all I want to do really is give a shout out to the clerk's office for doing a special meeting, especially after a reorganization meeting. Have no idea the paperwork involved with doing a regular meeting. The reorganization meeting is horrendous. And the week after the reorganization meeting is even worse, getting all the paperwork out where it has to go legally and all the contracts out. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.
It's appreciated, and I hope everyone appreciates what Tanya's doing and her office staff is doing, because believe me, it's not easy. And special meetings make it worse, because by the time you get your resolutions done, your notices done, and all the backup material, bless you, child.
Duly noted, and thank you, Madam Clerk. And I'm sure the audience who is here also appreciates the work that you've done. So thank you. We recognize that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, please.
Good evening. Eric Barash, Mercer County resident going back to 1965 when I was 3. I am here tonight, and there is another person in the room who is Jewish, but sundown fell at 4:30. So I had time to cover both bases this evening. I did have a serious conflict, otherwise I would have been here at noon on Monday. I do like what I see, no disrespect at all to Pryor, my good friend back there, and whoever may still be in the room or not. Question, and I may just be forgetting, to me, and I could be wrong, but the state of the township, to me, I guess at the time that it's delivered, is a finite item or not? Is it handled like a state of New Jersey address or a state of the Union address? And who would deliver it, if I may ask?
I can tell you what I think. It would be delivered by the manager because he would have first knowledge and he would be the preparer of such a document.
Okay, And secondly, I hope that I've never inconvenienced you, Kevin, on the township page if I've ever tagged you for clarity.
You brought me up
And I do also appreciate that for the longest time, we've been trying to get together for coffee and it hasn't happened over a long period of time. But last fall, there were 2 times that I came past here at the last minute and I got lucky and I had some serious questions and your door was open both times. Okay. And I guess that's it. And I like what I see. Thank you.
Mayor, just,
Yeah.
Eric, it's gonna be a report document. I'm not gonna stand up there and give the state of the township address.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be a document.
Well, like I say, I am now in a position where I will be more involved in my attendance. And like I said, I would have been here Monday.
If you prepare it, I'll read it. Please come forward. Just before you start, I want to thank you for your service.
Thank you very much. Marvin Van Heist, 118 Federal City Road. My family goes back long. I guess this microphone has never been on tonight. Probably no one needs to hear me anyway. You put the switch here?
We gotta get it wired.
Okay. Anyway,
We can hear.
my family's been in this township since 1700s, so we go way back. I don't remember it. But I'm sure I can go back in the family. I just came this evening because I wanted to say a couple things about Mr. Nowinski as well. I met him when he sauntered down the hall as the prosecutor newly appointed way back when I was a municipal judge here. And we started out with that relationship. I don't think he knew his way around the building at the time, but he sure did a good job in that capacity. And then subsequently, we, over the years, spent many years together as municipal judges, and I'm long since retired and an old timer. But I would say that, in my opinion, again, being from the other side of the fence, I respect his knowledge of the town. I respect his honesty and openness. I respect the information that he has conveyed to the municipal, to the residents of the town over the years, and agree with him or not agree with him. You always know where Kevin stands, and he takes an honest and passionate position, I think well thought out, which I think goes back to his experience. So I just simply felt that I had to give him my best wishes and my thanks for all the service that he gave this town over the years. And it's very difficult to step into situations as newly appointed members and to totally understand and glean what you need to glean from all the information that is thrown at you, the perspectives that are thrown at you, the expectations that are made of you. And that I experienced that as a judge. You come into a position that's open for public criticism. It doesn't take much to create a rumor mill. It creates a lot of problems, and it's very difficult to address. And I think that Kevin has done a good job with that. I think council has done a good job with that. And I simply wanted to make it known that I truly respect him and his position and the services he's provided over the years. So, and I thank and wish council the best of luck in 2024 and going forward in the next 4 years. And thank you very much.
I have to ask you.
I'm Kevin's father.
Oh, I served with him. He's a remarkable person. That's good.
Yeah, thank you. That was his mother's fault. Had nothing to do with it. The only thing he followed me was to law school, and the poor guy has been misguided ever since.
Thank you, Mr.
He said Kevin's father. I want everybody to know he's not my father.
My son is the affordable housing volunteer attorney in the
Yeah.
town.
I served with Kevin on the school board.
And yes,
Yes.
spent many years as a apprentice.
Okay, please come forward.
I feel like to be here.
But good evening, Chris Pagaldi, Eldridge Park, 45 years in this town. Just want to say a couple things. Tonight, I feel that this was a better meeting. I think we started off on the wrong foot here Monday. It was a little rough, and I think there was a lot that was involved, and people were talking with emotion. And I just want to come up here and say that I've worked with most of the council members, Mr. Bobbitt, Mr. Panaki, Mr. Howard is out there, even Mr. Bostock at one point in time. And I've never, like he said, he's on the other side, but at the end of the day, we have a common goal. We want to come together for the town, for the residents. And I feel that we can get there, but we need to get the information and not deal with our emotions and just speak on emotions. We need to get information, do our due diligence, and make informed decisions. I think we can move forward from Monday, but if you look at Monday from the outside, it was really embarrassing. As a resident of this town for 45 years, I just wanted to come up here and say that you have a couple members here, as well as Mr. Nowinski, that have been here for a while, and I feel that everybody can work together. So let's hope that we can move forward from Monday.
All right, seeing none, I will close the public participation portion of our meeting. I just want to take Mayor's liberty just to express that MLK Day, Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, is coming up in a couple of weeks, or actually a week and a half. And I wanted to just reiterate that it is a day of service. And my intentions, and maybe my fellow council members, will be to serve in the community of Lawrence, doing some form of public service for MLK Day. And I just wanted to read a quote from Martin Luther King that says, "True peace is not merely the absence of tension, it is the presence of justice." And one other favorite quote from John F. Kennedy that talks about change. "Change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past or to the present are certain to miss the future." Thank you. With those two.
May I say one thing?
Mr. Bobbitt, absolutely.
Thank you. I wanted to apologize for Monday in not recognizing your Latina roots as well. I know as a multiracial person that sometimes you're seen as one way and not necessarily your full self. So I wanted to apologize for that. Say congratulations again.
Perfect. Muchísimas gracias. Y vaya con Dios.
De nada.
Thank you. Yeah, I think I may be only like the second mayor in the state of Latino heritage. I was born in Puerto Rico, raised in Lawrence. I am bilingual. My father was African American from Virginia, my mother from Puerto Rico. She came here for better opportunities of employment and for the education of her children, her 7 children. So thank you. Okay. Can I have a motion for adjournment?
Mayor Mike, motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I want to thank you all for being here this evening and participating in our democracy. It's really appreciated. Thank you.
Happy Friday.